Welcome back to Every Horror Film where horror is forever and Halloween ends. Woo, we are about 20 minutes out of the theater. We just saw this movie together. We saw an IMAX. It's fantastic. IMAX is always good. We really haven't talked that much. I tried to get your reaction outside the theater, and you wouldn't give me much. I gave you my reaction. And just by the way, it will be in the title, but this is a non-spoiler, just a reaction to this movie. We will watch this again on Peacock probably this weekend, and then give you an official spoiler long review like we have been doing. But this is just an initial reaction. So Jeff, I'm gonna let you go first because I have no idea what's running through those headsets right now. Your
Man,
initial reaction to Halloween ends.
I really want you to go first,
Okay.
honestly, because I feel like you have more concrete ideas right out the gate.
So, by the way, this is my large Pepsi I got from the cinema, and this is between two people drinking this drink. By the way, and I'm not even halfway through with it.
That's huge, dude.
It's massive. Okay, my initial reaction is I really like this movie. I had a lot of fun. They do some stuff as we have seen. I'm sure people have seen online and non-spoiler reviews. They do some stuff that is going to piss people off. And there's a certain group of Halloween fans I'm talking about that I'm not going to say who, but there's a certain group of Halloween fans that they are not going to like this movie. There is no way around it. For me personally, when you're this deep into a franchise, I know this is its own timeline. I feel like you need to take some chances. And to me, the route they went, I personally enjoyed it. I think it was a fun ride. There's an ending in here that there is something definitive that happens. But for the most part, I did enjoy this film. In the beginning, I was kind of a little on the rocks. I thought, the dialogue, I was starting to get, Halloween Kill vibes a little bit. But I think they put it together, and when it got time to get serious, I think it really worked. And to me, I really enjoyed this movie. I did. I walked out with a better reaction than I did from Kills.
Good, good. Yeah, that's already a leg up on kills. So good across the board.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to say because when you watch something in the theaters, like you're in the environment and you're like into it. And my theater experience was good. It really wasn't that packed of a crowd. I was kind of surprised. Maybe it's because we got the 6 o'clock showing, and people were
And it was IMAX on Thursday.
yeah, people were still getting off work and stuff, and we got there like 5:30. But for the most part, the experience in the theater and just from what I saw, I'm sure there are things here and there that I missed. I feel like I caught some pretty good Easter eggs, right off the bat. If you're a fan of a certain film in this series, as soon as it starts, you were going to be like, I know that, and that's what
Yep.
I did to you. uh, but yeah, I really did enjoy it. There's some problems here and there for sure, but for my first initial reaction, I had a good time with this movie. I did.
Good. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Um, where do I even start, man? Um, again, I'm going to reiterate. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I'm not going to give you any plot points. I'm not even going to give you any names. Because if you're watching this video, you're probably going tonight or tomorrow night or this weekend or next week. But I'm going to talk about it without giving you any spoilers. So, my reaction, straight out the gate, right when the credits roll, I am so 50-50 on this. Um, it's now listen to me very carefully. With Halloween Kills, I was 100% against it right off the bat. As soon as I stood up from my seat, I was like, that was terrible. Did not have that reaction here. So automatically, this movie is better than Halloween Kills. I'm going to tell you this. My gut is telling me that this is not gonna sit well with the majority audience.
Yeah,
For
I agree. I agree.
the majority of people who think they have an idea of what they're getting into with the third film in this trilogy are gonna feel disappointed. And to a degree, I feel disappointed too. You know, you think you're coming into some grand finale, but really the direction they take the story is of this trilogy, it is the most standalone movie.
Yeah.
It could stand alone on its own with no movies before or after and be completely fine. And that's why it's kind of weird and throwing me off that it's the finale to a trilogy. Um, our expectations in our theories video, we got a couple things right. We got a couple things right. A couple things we got wrong, but as expected. Man, I, I, I'm just staring off into the distance right now because I'm trying to figure out what my emotions are
It's a lot.
because
It's a lot to take in.
it's a lot, man. They hid a lot from the trailers. They did a good job hiding some major plot points. Um, there are some weak spots for sure, but not like Halloween Kills, man. I think
Yeah.
you just have to go into this with absolutely zero expectations. And I know you say that about every movie, but it's le- it's not it's not the Halloween movie you expected to get as the third in the series. But that doesn't mean that it's bad. This I think is going to be hated right out the gate, but I think it's going to become a cult classic very fast, the same way Season of the Witch was. I think this is going to be a cult classic among the hardcore Halloween fans. I have to watch it at least 2 more times to figure out if I'm for or against this movie because I am straight up right down the middle. First reaction right out the gate.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough. People say, "Oh, it's divisive." Like, no, this and that's and I'm glad that that happened because I saw so many people online saying like, "Oh, divisive." I'm like, okay, like, is it really that divisive? No, it is. There is
It
something that
is.
happens in this movie that you were either going to go on that train and keep riding it, or you're going to be like, okay, I'm done. I want off this ride. I'm going home.
Yeah, and to say it is probably the most divisive Halloween movie to date. I mean, some movies that are bad, you can tell right off the bat that they're bad movies. You
Yeah.
know, the ones that are good, you can tell that they're good. I would say that this is divisive, the most divisive, because it's either going to be you love it or you hate it. There's not going to be any in the middle like maybe Halloween 2 was. Um, it, it's a lot to think about, man. They did some stuff. Now, I'll tell you this, from a storytelling perspective, from a first act, second act, third act perspective, from a filmmaking perspective, they it was a slam dunk, especially compared to Halloween Kills. They did a great job with story, with a very standalone, condensed story, and I didn't feel like it was empty and inflated like Halloween Kills was. Um,
Yeah, this movie made me care for kills even less. But
that's the thing. My most concrete emotion coming out of this is wow, Halloween Kills is even worse than I remember because it. I make the joke that Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie doesn't matter. Dog, Halloween Kills does not matter at all. Does
the,
not matter. You could have
the,
had 2018 and then 4 years later done this and you would have been fine.
yeah, it's I don't really think that's a spoiler, but everyone knows that Kills is a very like middle place, like placeholder film until you get to the end, which everyone knows. I mean, whether you like it or not, it's that's up to you. But I will say this that I do disagree a little bit in terms of going in with an open mind or not knowing anything, and here's why. I think if you know absolutely nothing about this movie, and this could be the way you're feeling, maybe a little bit. I think if you know nothing other than just like the trailer, like the first trailer, or just like the plot synopsis, I think you're not going to like this movie as much. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I had an idea of stuff that I had just seen. I didn't know spoilers, but I did watch a lot of non-spoiler reviews before we went in. Like today, that's all I did was like look up stuff. And nothing was spoiled for me. I got very lucky because that's really tough, especially now. But I had a general idea where this was going to go. And I just wanted to see if they were going to really go that way. And when they did, and they executed it, I was like, wow, okay. I had an idea this was going to happen, but the way they did it made me actually appreciate it. So I feel like if you go into this with like, all you think is like, oh, it's just going to be Laurie versus Michael, like that's what I'm here for. You are going to be in for
A rude awakening.
A rude awakening. Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, this is not whatever you have for an idea of this third installment, whatever you think Halloween Ends is going to be based on what you saw in 2018 and Kills. I promise you, it's not. It's a completely original and secluded plot. Listen to what I'm saying. This movie takes place 4 years after the first two movies.
40
So
years ago.
I don't want to ever hear that again. So for right off the bat, 4 years later, we're in a different world now. Not to say that there's any world affairs in this, but what I'm saying is they've put the first two movies behind them. We're somewhere new in their lives now. So
Yeah.
I think that's all I can say without getting into really spoiler heavy territory. And I don't want to rate it. I don't want to give it a grade because whatever I give it, I feel like I'm gonna go back on. Like I'm so on the fence about this. It's not even funny. I just don't know. They took a huge chance, and the fact that I'm not saying they failed is what's really throwing me off because it's very easy to identify when a big chance flops. They took a big chance, and I really have to dissect it 2 more times to figure out if it worked.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to grade it yet either, because there's been times where I really, really like the movie, in the theaters, and I go back and watch it, and I'm like, holy shit, that was cool. So
man,
I don't think I'm gonna have that reaction here, but it's too tough to say like, oh, this is the best Halloween movie or this is the worst Halloween. It's too early. It's too early.
It's too early to tell. You have to watch it more than once to tell that. The theater will add that stimulus of excitement and fun and wonder. So you gotta, remind yourself about that. But also, it's like I, I'm very excited to watch it again
Yeah.
because now listen, when I saw the Batman in theaters, I had the exact same gut feeling that I'm having now. And we all know now that the Batman is great.
Yeah.
But my gut reaction, I was so blindsided by it that I have to go back and I have to soak it in now that I know what I'm buying into, like you said in the last couple of reviews. Once you know what you're buying into, don't try to rate it until the second time. So I'm gonna watch it again tomorrow night on Peacock, and I'm going to really dissect it now that I'm not caught off guard. And maybe this gut feeling will sway one way or another.
Yeah, I don't even have Peacock, but I'm probably gonna have to sign up for a free trial, just so I can watch this again.
No.
But yeah, it's definitely something you need to see, unless you're
Right.
that person that just flat out is like, you get to that point, you're like, fuck this movie, I don't want anything to do with it. But yeah, I think that's a good point. Like when I walked out of Kills, like when we both did, like I didn't want to watch it again. I was like, I don't want to see the movie again.
We knew right away.
I didn't like it. Now I did have a 180 there when I bought it on 4K, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this, and I watched it again, and I was like, nah, I don't actually. So it's tough, and God, I just want to talk about everything, but
I want to talk about it so bad because there's a lot to talk about. But let's leave it at that. Let's cut ourselves off. Let's watch it again tomorrow night on Peacock. Let's maybe if you're feeling antsy and you're still on the fence, watch it a third time. If you're going to see it this weekend, go into it with an open mind, man. Put aside your preconceived notions of what you think this third one's going to be, and just keep your eyes open, and don't go into it expecting to pick up where Halloween Kills left off, because Halloween Kills, I'm changing it from an F plus to an F minus now. I got no sympathy for Halloween Kills. I don't ever. I know for a fact now I'm never gonna watch it again.
Yeah, there are there's things that happen in this movie where you kind of forget about that, honestly. You really don't. I'm not trying to say too much, but you're just kind of like, huh, like, did you really need that? Like, did you need it? Yeah.
You didn't need it. Didn't need it at all for this story. And let's leave it at that. Let's cut ourselves off. Go watch Halloween Ends this weekend, either in the theaters or on Peacock. Watch it with an open mind. Watch it twice if you can. And really determine if your strong feelings about this, positive or negative, are just a result of you being blindsided in your first viewing.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Absolutely. Definitely go into it with an open mind. Just go in there and just say, hey, you know what? I'm ready for whatever. And just see what happens, man. Because at the end of the day, it's just a movie.
It's just a movie. Well, we're gonna watch it again, and I think I'll have a more concrete yes or no on this after tomorrow.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for hanging out with us for here just a few minutes. Check us out on Instagram. Every horror film, horrors forever. Halloween Ends. Go see it on Peacock. Go see it in theaters, however you want to do it. And we will see y'all next time on our spoiler review of Halloween Ends. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Alrighty.
The mummy has now been located.
The living mummy. The living mummy.
Bullets won't stop.
Some creature out of time.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
He's completely out of control.
I saw those bodies.
Is he a man or a monster?
You actually knew a werewolf in a peaceful town where nothing ever happened.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
In the mystical regions of Transylvania.